The head bone's connected to the neck bone connected to the shoulder bone's connected to everything's connected in the human body. Isn't that awesome? I get excited every day about the human body, about anatomy and physiology and how the human body works. And I could say that's because I'm a personal exercise coach and I've been exercising all of my life and I teach other people about exercise. But I live inside my human body like you live inside your human body. And one of the questions that never ceases to perplex me is why is it that we don't want to learn about it for ourselves? The house that we live in, and we don't get to get another one, the human body that we live in, it's the only one we've got, and yet we seem to pass responsibility for it to so many people. I'm learning every day, and I've been doing this for 40 plus years. I'm an exercise professional, a personal results coach. I am an educator. I have an international fitness college, educating people that the human body is an amazing thing. And I love learning about it. And I get it, and I'll share with you very personally, I get a little sad. I get disappointed that people who share with me that they're really passionate about wanting to inspire people to be healthy, to be fit and to be strong, don't seem to want to learn how the human body works. It's a connected machine, and I love that song, the head bone's connected to the neck bone's connected to the shoulder bone's connected to everything. It's a beautiful high performance machine, and when it's working at its best, it will look after you. That's one of my favourite quotes. If I look after my body will look after me. And I'm learning that more and more every day because I'm an old lady now and I'm fit and I'm strong and I'm energetic and I'm healthy and I can do all the things that I've always dreamt about doing that I never dreamed I could do when I was 50, 60, 70 years of age, and I'm just doing them every day. So this is a very personal question. If you're a parent, a teacher, a coach, if you're a leader, if you're an exercise professional, if you're giving advice, any kind of advice whatsoever about how to be mentally or physically fit and strong, what right would we have to do that if we haven't learnt about how the human body works? It perplexes me that we would listen to a social media influencer, or we would read a magazine and believe it, or we would listen to our next door neighbour who said, I've tried this diet and it worked for me. Now, all of those could be brilliant, but how would we know? If somebody gives us an exercise program or an eating plan or recommends either of those, how would we know if they're going to work if we don't understand the human body? So this is my begging position, as you know. It's just a subject that if you know how to keep your body fit and strong and healthy, what would that do for the rest of your life? What would that do for your family? What would that do for your career? What would that do for your ability to make money? What would that do for your ability to remain cool and calm under pressure? This thing that we live in, our beautiful body, our brain lives inside our body and our brain controls everything, including our emotions. One of the most underrated systems in the body for me, and one that's the least studied probably by exercise people, and I can't call them professionals because the endocrine system, the hormonal system, is just so powerful when it comes to looking after the human body because it controls everything. So thirst, hunger, tired, stress, pressure, all of that is all controlled by the hormonal system. So if you don't understand how the hormonal system works, and I'm not talking about becoming an endocrinologist, but rather than just believing, and I'll give you a simple example, as an old lady, as a woman, I was told all of my life a lot of things about being a woman, but one of the things that kind of scared me a little bit, I think, when I was maybe 20 and 30, was that you're going to go through the hormonal phase of menopause, and you're going to get hot flashes, and you're going to be tired, and you're going to get fat, and it's going to be horrible. And we have a bit of a joke here at our house because I came to the point in my life where I said to my husband, I think I've been through menopause. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I haven't had a period for a very long time, so I think that means I'm old enough now to have gone through menopause. But there was nothing. For me, there was nothing. There was no hot flushes. There was no weight gain. There was no stress. There was no tired. There was no nothing. Well, I understand why, because the human body, when it's fit and strong, handles everything. Your hormonal, you can be in control of your hormonal system. It doesn't have to control you. You can, when you're fit and strong and your hormones are working together to keep everything, and that's the beautiful thing about, again, the endocrine system. It's designed to keep you in peak physical condition. The human body was never meant to be out of shape. It was never meant to be weak. It was never meant to be frail. It was never meant to be diseased. And I'm not sure why we even want it to be. And is it possible that if you learn how the human body works and if you keep it in peak physical condition, that you won't get the horrible diseases that come from inactivity? So the biggest killers in the world now, coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancer, they're all inactivity diseases. Now, if you add to that osteoporosis, depression, anxiety, Parkinson's, MS, there's a really good, strong argument to say that if you're fit and strong, very unlikely to get any of those. And if you do get them, you'll deal with them so much better if you're fit and strong. But how would you know that if you didn't know how the human body works? So this is a very personal request, and it's on behalf of our future adults. Because I always ask this question: what right do we have to bring our kids into a world where it's normal and has become normal to be out of shape and unhealthy and weak and depressed? When more than 50% of the population is overweight, out of shape, depressed, it has become normal. We accept it as normal. And that is exactly where we are now in the world. So our kids growing up, and a lot of our kids growing up now, they've got old people's diseases as children. So, for example, type 2 diabetes used to be called age onset diabetes, and only old, weak, overweight people got it. Now we've got kids with type 2 diabetes. We've got kids with coronary heart disease. We've got kids with osteoporosis. Osteoporosis was an old lady's bone thinning disease because some women didn't keep their muscles and bones strong because they stopped being as active as the human body is meant to be. We have another joke at our house about the human body was never designed to sit down. It just physically is not designed to sit. Now, you wouldn't know that if you didn't know your anatomy and physiology, but everything about the human body works better in the upright position. The only other position is lying down, and that's for sleeping. And of course, it's better to sleep lying down than standing up, and it's better to sleep lying down than sitting up. It's lying down gives you complete relaxation and rest. The only other position is upright. And I don't do anything in between. I'm either standing up, running, sprinting, doing stuff in the upright position, or I'm lying down. I don't do anything in between because the human body's not designed to sit down. And that's why we've got kids with coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and they're depressed because they sit on their backside. And as you can tell, I get very passionate about that because the human body is not designed to sit down. But how would we know that if we didn't understand anatomy and physiology? The brain works 7% better. That's just a pretty accepted fact now. 7% is a fair whack just being in the upright position versus seated. We burn more calories in the upright position because it requires energy to stand up. Most people sit down because they're tired. I have to sit down because I'm like, oh, I've got to sit down. Where's the chairs? Because we haven't got the energy to stand up, really? I don't want that for our world. So the question I always ask is this: you've got a human body, you're going to live in it for the rest of your life. Why not learn about it? Whether you're a doctor or a lawyer, an architect, an engineer, an accountant, a landscape gardener, a builder, a plumber, a pianist, doesn't matter. Why not learn how the human body works? If you're going to look at stuff on social media, if you're going to watch television, if you're going to go to the movies, if you're going to read the newspaper, if you're going to look at a book, why not find out about this thing that you live in? And how the human body works, how the systems work together, what fires the central nervous system, the endocrine system, what keeps muscles and bones strong. And if you are an exercise professional, I'm challenging you that wouldn't it be irresponsible not to learn? Now, I'm very, very careful about asking the question because I lived a lot of my life pretending that I knew my anatomy and physiology. I learned it to pass the test. It's another joke that we have in our house. A lot of doctors and physiotherapists and chiropractors and endocrinologists and cardiologists are the same. They learnt their anatomy and physiology to pass the test. Because when it comes to applying how the human body works to real life situations, there seems to be a disconnect. And I'll use the example of exercise. Most exercises that you see in the gym or in a personal training studio or in a boot camp, if you had those exact same movement patterns at speed with momentum in a workplace, on a construction site, in a warehouse, the poor workplace health and safety person would get sued because they're dangerous for the human body. But because people don't understand their anatomy and physiology, we do them in the gym because everybody's been doing them for 100 years. We do them in a boot camp because everybody's doing them. There's all these new, weird and wonderful, wacky things happening on social media. And the exercises, I don't know if I'm bombarded with them every day. It makes it very obvious that the person delivering the information, delivering the exercise, delivering the eating plan, doesn't understand how the human body works. Because they know if they did, they wouldn't say the stuff that they're saying and they wouldn't recommend the exercises they're recommending. I don't want to be that person. How about you? I don't want to make a fool of myself pretending that I know about how the human body works when I don't. And I'm studying, learning, training, educating every day. I have a responsibility, of course, for that, but I've got a responsibility to my own body. How about you? I don't want to get old and weak and frail. I love being fit and strong and healthy. I'm getting younger as I get older. I'm getting physically younger and stronger as I get older. It's a fantastic feeling. Every day that I'm doing stuff that some of the stuff I'm doing now I wasn't even capable of doing when I was 20, because when I was 20 I did a lot of the following of the fads too, because I didn't know my anatomy and physiology. So I got led down the garden path of the ridiculous exercises that screwed up my body. And I screwed up my own body. I have to take responsibility for that. I don't want to do that to anybody else. How about you? I don't ever want to be responsible for hurting somebody's joint. I don't want joints. I don't want to be responsible for giving them coronary heart disease or type 2 diabetes or having a stroke or getting cancer, any of the horrible things that happen from inactivity. My goal as an exercise professional, as a personal exercise coach, is to make sure that I get people fit, I get people strong, and I do it in a way that suits their lifestyle so they can actually stick to it for the rest of their life. And I would never know how to do that if I don't know how the human body works. So my challenge, my please, my begging, why not learn your anatomy and physiology? Not just to pass the test. That's why at Max, as a college, we don't have any tests. They're called, the final missions at Max to become qualified are called real life scenarios, because it's about exciting people to exercise and stay fit and strong for the rest of their life. And how would we do that if we didn't know how the human body works? So if you want great hair, great skin, great nails, bright eyes, strong muscles, strong bones, strong heart and lungs, if you want a high performance machine that can do all the things that you want to do, if you want to have a stack of energy, if you want to make sure that you've got an immune system that can fight germs, bugs, viruses and diseases, if you want to make sure that you don't get the inactivity diseases of coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, stroke, depression, anxiety, dementia, Alzheimer's, the horrible things that happen when you don't look after yourself. If you want to keep your body in peak physical condition as a high performance machine that burns up everything that you put into it, because that whole concept of can't have, mustn't have, don't have, shouldn't have, you're not allowed to have that food because it's bad for you, but you have to eat this one because it's a superfood but you don't even like it. None of that makes any sense to me. How about you? When you understand anatomy, when you understand physiology, when you go back to, and I'm not talking about science and research studies here, I'm just talking about the fundamentals that nobody argues, the human body, what makes up the human body and how does it work, is it possible that you could then analyse any research study for yourself? You don't have to say follow the science, you don't have to believe the scientist, you can actually read the scientific study for yourself and work out whether the methodology was good, whether the conclusion was right, and the study, was it even designed properly based on how the human body works? But if you don't know your anatomy and you don't know your physiology, you can't do any of that. You just follow blindly. And the reason this is so important to me is this is my body, I live in it. You live in your body and you're going to be living in it for the rest of your life. Now, barring accident, the human body can live 120, 130. That's a given. But that's before we knew how to look after it. Now we actually know how to get fit and get strong and stay that way. We possibly, barring accident, could live 130, 140, 150. What's the point of living that long if you don't love your life? And that's what I'm here for every day. Romex is about being healthy, fit and strong for the rest of your life, having a career or business that you love, being financially free and having great people in your life and being able to communicate with them effectively, and most importantly, loving your life and loving who you are. And we can't do any of that without knowing our anatomy and physiology, because all of that's based on how does the brain work and how does the human body work. And once you've got that sorted, everything else works itself out. Most importantly, when your brain's working well, you can make better decisions, you can be more creative, you can design better things, you can overcome challenges, you can be a positive, optimistic solution finder for all the people in your life. If that's important to you, could it be a really good idea to study your anatomy and physiology? That's what the Max program is all about. Not telling you what to think, it's about how to think for yourself based on, is that how the human body works? What's it made of and how does it work? Because the head bone's connected to the neck bone, the neck bone's connected to the body bone, the body's all connected, let's look after it. Stay young and strong for long, woohoo!